What is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video we are taking a look at the Regroup Straw Hat Pirates event, the 0 Stamina 11-star challenge event. So this event was pretty interesting. It's sort of built around the V3 Law unit and his batch. So if you have V3 Law and Sabo and the Luffy, you're going to be in a really good place for this particular piece of content. It's completely built around being int, so bringing a full Psy unit, Psy team is very, very helpful. And it is very fiddly, but I do have 4 teams for you guys in this video today, utilizing stuff like Roger, Boa, the Law, and Shanks crew, as they're sort of like the 4 best Psy legends that are on OPTC Global at the moment. So if any of these teams do help you guys out, make sure to belt that like button. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button too. We post OPTC videos pretty much every single day. And let's have a look at the event. So the 11-star event, as I mentioned, these characters are going to be boosted: the Luffy, the Sabo, and the Law. They get a 1.25 times attack boost and 10 turns special cooldown at the start of the quest. So bringing them is very, very good. It's going to help you guys significantly, especially if you're running a double Law team, which is the best way to go about this. But as I mentioned, we do have 4 teams for you in this particular video, so let's hop over to the clips and let's see how the teams perform. So the first team is a hybrid Law and Boa team. So on this team we have the Rare Recruit Luffy, we have the free-to-play Stampede Sabo, we have the Rare Recruit Ivankov, and we have Rare Recruit Kami. So we do have some specific supports on this particular team. We do have the support of Flampe on our Ivankov, and then we have Rayleigh and Corazon on our V3 Law and our Luffy. So on the first couple of stages of this particular event, we come up against a bunch of 1-0 swordsmen, and they have like a lot of HP, but the idea of having them here is so you could basically stall out. So use these guys to stall out for your specials, but just be mindful that they do have a lot of HP. So with this particular team, Law's kind of restrictive, as he can only bring fighters, free spirits, and strikers. But as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this particular content is just built around bringing a Psy team, as well as bringing those 3 Law, Sabo, and Luffy, as they are significantly boosted. But in this particular team, we're not actually using the Sabo. The Luffy, in my opinion, is just way better out of the 2 of them. And I just find I'm using Luffy way more in regular play than I am the Sabo. The Sabo's good, but like, there's just other better Sabos. And that Luffy for this particular piece of content is just absolutely incredible. He does so much goddamn work, it's not even funny. Ivankov on this particular team, unfortunately, pretty much isn't replaceable, as there's only 1 fighter, striker, or free spirit that can remove this defense up and special bind. Now I imagine you could probably bring like another unit that's not a Psy unit on this particular team, and it should still work fine as long as they're a fighter, striker, or free spirit. But they're basically the only option you have if you want to bring a Psy unit. Finally, we have Kami. She's excellent for the next stage coming up, as she gives a conditional boost as well as removing burn. So double special is required on Kami, so that is something to note. Now that we're halfway through the event, we are on stage 3, I think, 3 or 4. We come up against Nami and Usopp. Basically, with this particular stage, just use your normal attacks to take them out. But ideally, what you want to do here is, when you move on to the next stage, I did actually get fairly lucky, is you want to make sure that you can have some sort of negative orb. Now, as you can see here, I did get incredibly lucky, and I got a whole bunch of negative orbs there. But the idea of that is what Ivankov does is he will rotate recovery, tandem, or non-matching orbs into matching, and when he does that, you can get the Flampe effect to get an orb boost on this particular stage. Frankie's actually going to burn you and special bind you, and has that defense up as well, Frankie and Sanji. So what you want to do is use the Kami special twice here to get the conditional boost. You have the orb boost from the support of Flampe, and you've removed the burn with Kami. So it works really, really well. Kami's an excellent unit for that particular piece of content, and the combination of Flampe and Ivankov works great too. On to the next stage, you come up against Brook and Robin. Brook and Robin can actually do 2 different things. They can either gloom you for, I think it's 6 turns, then they decrease your chain multiplier, or they can lower your attack. But they are always going to give you that chain multiplier reduction. It's all about if you get to spare or attack. It's very annoying, but if you bring the Sabo, the free-to-play Sabo here, he can actually get around the attack down, and he also gives you color affinity. As I got the Despair, and as you saw, our supports removed that, I am actually going to save his special for the final turn. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the super typing of Boa and just blitz our way through that particular stage against Brook and Robin, and then we can move into the final stage against all of the Straw Hats. So now that we're here against all of the Straw Hats, they are going to do a whole bunch of nasty stuff. So they are going to give us a full board of empty block G recovery orbs, all of the ones that basically lore turn into matching. They're going to paralyze 3 of our units for 5 turns, and they roll our specials back by 2 times. So a lot of finicky stuff that you need to get around here, but with that rare recruit Luffy, you can get around most of it. So Luffy's actually going to roll our specials forward, and he removes the paralysis. And then with the Liberal Hind, we can actually use the Liberal Hind special to get out another turn of cooldown. Then we can use our Lore special to give ourselves a full board of orbs, and an orb boost and a chain lock. And then finally Sabo is going to give us color affinity. With that, we have an attack boost, we have color affinity, we have a chain lock, we have orb boost. We basically have everything going for us, including super typing. And as you can see, the Straw Hats are just going to absolutely melt. So to be fair, this team can probably run very easily with 2 lores, 2 by the way. I don't see it having too many issues if you do bring 2 lores, but I thought, hey, what's the better way to start this particular piece of content with the king and queen of stalling, that is V3 Boa and V3 lore. So the combo works exceptionally well, and does it very, very safe. So on to the next team now. We have another hybrid team. We are using Shanks with Boa. So as you can see, our sockets are pretty scuffed. But what we are using on this particular team here is we have the Summertime Robin with the Legend Bardo support. We have the new Summertime Viola as well for our Orb Booster. And then we're using Legend Chopper. Legend Chopper is going to get around all those nasty defects, either being the Despair or the Attack down. And finally, we have the Rare Recruit Halloween Vivi. So this Halloween Vivi is actually really good, as she can remove 2 turns of paralysis, as well as give you special cooldown on the final stage as well, as long as your captain is Free Spirit or Cerebral. So if you have Boa and you don't have Shanks crew, you can obviously run Boa as your leader and bring a friend Shanks crew. Or if you don't have Boa, you can bring your own Shanks crew and bring a friend Boa. That'll work fine as well. But Shanks crew is exceptional for this particular piece of content, as he removes this special blind. It just makes getting around that particular piece of content so much easier, as you don't have to worry about the special blind and the defense up. You can sort of just focus on the defense up. He's also very good as getting through these particular lackeys is just super easy with him. It's getting the extra 1.5 times attack boost every single turn. Just helps out the team a lot. It makes getting through some of the other stages a lot easier as well, as that extra 1.5 times attack every single turn is just it's so nice. Also, the orbs is very, very important, that you have Robin underneath Shanks crew. Depending if you bring a friend Shanks crew, having her in the middle left, and if you bring your own Shanks crew, make sure she's in the middle right. That's very, very important, as you do want to make sure that she does get a Psi Orb when you use her special. Because when she uses her special, she's going to rotate all your orbs into her orb. So it's very important that she has a Psi Orb. Alright, so here we are against Nami and Usopp once again. Basically, what you want to do here is make sure you're switching into the Shanks variation. That way you can do quite a bit of damage to all of the int units, and with the Liberal Hind, you are going to get a massive attack buff. Don't kill Usopp and Nami on the first turn as well. You want to switch into the crew variation before you actually kill them, mainly because when you move on to the next stage, you want to make sure you are switching back into Shanks. Now, I did want to stall an extra turn here, as I wanted to use the Boa special, but it isn't overly necessary. You could definitely just drop the Boa special on the next turn. As you see there, I didn't know that the Nami and Usopp actually blow away two of my units. But it's not the end of the world, as we are going to get healing back from the Boa special on this particular turn here. And then we can move on to the next stage. So it's up to you if you want to actually do that. The reason I wanted to do that is to make sure I could maximize my damage, as this was one of the second times that I was running the event. Well, with this particular team, it was actually I tried this team a couple of times and I kept dying on this particular stage. But I'll explain that in a second. Onto the Sanji and Frankosuke stage now. We want to switch into our Shanks and then use the Robin special. So Robin is going to remove the defense up, and because she has a Psi Orb, she's going to give us a full board of Psi Orbs. Frankosuke and Sangoro actually give us burn, so just monitor your HP and make sure that you do have enough HP for how much burn damage you're taking. I think it's around 4k burn damage per perfect. So on to the next stage against Brook and Robin. This time we actually got the Despair, or this time we got the Despair once again. But with this team, it doesn't really matter because we are using the Chopper. Legend Chopper is going to be removing the Despair and the Attack down, depending on which one you get. But unfortunately, we kind of get around that chain coefficient reduction. But lucky for us, we are using Shank Screw. So we can use the Shank Screw special, and that way we can get a chain lock, and we don't actually have to worry about it. We can also use the Viola special in this particular turn here, as we can carry the orbs into the next stage. But you could definitely save her for the last stage. But just having those 2 turns of orbs is just incredibly handy. Now we have saved the Boa super typing for the final stage, so make sure you haven't actually touched that, as you are going to need the Boa super typing to get through the block orbs and the TND orbs. To get around the paralysis, we have that Bardo support. Bardo on Robin's just exceptionally strong. 3 turns of paralysis, which is just amazing. And then with the what's her name? Vivi, we can actually remove the other 2 turns of paralysis. Now, if you really want to, you could possibly run the Oro Jackson instead of the Vivi to remove the other 2 turns of the paralysis, but that Vivi just worked absolutely fine. Obviously, you could still use that Luffy as well, but this team did it very well. Shanks Crew is the GOAT, always clearing content with the help of the super type of Boa as well. Obviously, it does it very well, but there is a team at the end that does it exceptionally well. So the next team is a Roger and Law team. So I hybrided up Roger and Law, and unfortunately I did have to use a couple of the same subs that we were using in the Law and Boa team. But this particular team takes less support power, I guess is the best way to put it. So the differences on this particular team is we do have the new rare recruit Rayleigh. He's a color affinity booster, which is really good, and he's the super type procer for our Roger unit. And then instead of bringing the Sabo on this team, we have the treasure map Christmas Nami. She's really good because she can remove burn as well as attack down. But with this team, we don't have to worry about Despair, as we have Roger as our leader. So Roger's amazing captain ability, the 4.5 times Rainbow Captain. Being a free spirit, he is falling under Law's bracket as well, getting buffed that way. And he just ignores Despair, so we don't even have to worry about the Despair on that particular turn, as he's just going to remove it. We are using the Invinclay Flampe technique once again, as that technique is just works so well for that particular that particular stage. It just gets around all the defects, gives you like all the orbs you need, gives you an orb boost, just saves so many specials. But because we have 2 attack boosters on this particular team, we can use our Rayleigh special on the same stage as the Ivankov special if you get unlucky with orbs. That is, but the orb boost generally gives you enough, provided you have enough orbs. The Roger super typing is going to be very handy on the final, on the second last stage as well. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, you could probably use the Roger super typing now. I think that's actually what I do. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's what I do. Let's see when we get there. So on the Nami and Usopp stage, we are basically just going to take our time with normal attacks, just chipping away at their HP. And as I mentioned, you do want to try and salvage either a recovery, tandem, or a into orb. Actually, take it back. No, you don't. Oh, yes, you do. You do want one because you do need the orb rotation. God, I'm all over the shop. You do need to get the orb rotation so that Flampe can trigger to get the orb buff. So we got very lucky and we actually got an orb on Law. If you don't farm it, it's not the end of the world, but the orb rotation is really nice. That way we can trigger that Flampe. I'm not sure if the Flampe actually triggers without the orb rotation, but I mean it could. So this is where we're going to use the super typing of our Roger. That way we can lock our orbs and get a full board of Psy orbs, and we can just carry them into the next stage. Even just hitting greats and with that orb boost is just so much damage. Finishing off with Roger, like we're still just taking absolutely no damage from that burn, so just excellent. And the amount of healing we can get from Law is just it's such a cheeky little combo, running Law and Roger as hybrid captains. They work so well together. On the next stage, we actually got the attack down this time against Robin and Brook. So, I mean, cool. We can use the Nami special to remove that. She's also going to remove the burn, which is really handy. and she reduces the chain coefficient reduction as well. On this particular stage, this is where you could definitely drop Rayleigh. I think I bring the support of Clash Zoro, which is definitely not needed as you have Rayleigh's color affinity. It's a much higher color affinity. Just using the Rayleigh special in that previous turn just gives you that much damage that you don't even need to really worry about the color affinity anyway. So it is what it is. On the final stage against all the Straw Hats now, we are going to use our Law special to be our Chain Locker and our Orb Booster. Beautiful cut in. Then we have the Luffy to give us an attack buff for our Free Spirits and our Fighters, as well as removing the Paralysis once again. So that Luffy Law sort of little combo is just the perfect way to get around that final stage. Especially when you're using the Liberal Hind as well for that extra cooldown. Otherwise, you can bring the Sabo. That Sabo from the batch as well will give it an extra turn of cooldown, but it just means you have to bring him for an extra special when you can just bring the ship. When the ship can do a character special, you know the character isn't overly amazing. And even when we miss one of our perfects, we can still absolutely clap all the Straw Hats and just finish it off with our good old friend, Goldie Roger. Beautiful. So that was the Roger and the Law team. Does it very, very well, and does it quite fast too. So moving into the final team, we have a Goldie, Roger, and Shanks hybrid crew. So this team sort of has like little bits of all of the other teams. So we are bringing the Rare Recruit Robin with the barter support once again. We have Odin on this particular team. That is the massive difference. We are using the free-to-play Sabo, and then we're using the Rare Recruit Rayleigh. That way we can sort of just trigger everyone's, Roger's super typing, and then bringing a friend Shanks crew, we can actually get rid of the special blind. So the thing about this particular team as well, the big difference between all the other ones, is we are running the Oro Jackson. So the Oro Jackson can remove 2 turns of paralysis, which is going to be really, really good when we get to the final stage. Unfortunately, though, the Summertime Robbie is not going to be getting boosted by that particular ship. So make sure you are attacking with her first, as she's just losing a little bit of damage there. But nevertheless, like she's still very, very good on this team otherwise. On our Rayleigh unit as well, we do have the support of Clash Zoro, as when we get to the final stage, we don't actually need to use our specials. So we've already used all our specials, and this team doesn't actually have an attack booster on the final stage, but as you guys will see when we get to the end, it has so much goddamn damage that this team actually does it incredibly well, incredibly fast too. I think this was the fastest out of all the teams, I think easily. So the Roger Shanks crew, getting it done. And this team doesn't have any of those limited rare recruits, not limited rare recruits, the Law rare recruits that came out, the Sabo, the Luffy, and the Law. This team doesn't use any of them, but if you are missing like, say someone like the, if you have missing something like the Oro Jackson or something like that, you can use something like Okiku at the end to get some paralysis removal, as well as giving you cooldowns that way as well. But yeah, this team did it very, very well, very, very comfortably, and incredibly fast. So we're already up to the Usopp and Nami stage. So as you guys could see there, we just used the switch ability of our Shanks crew to take them out. As the same with the other Shanks crew hybrid team, make sure that you are the crew when you move into the next stage against Sanji and Frankie, as you do want to switch in and have a full, well, almost full team of Psy units. So on the Frankie and Sanji team, we are going to be using the switchability of our Shanks crew. We can use the Robin special to give us a full border orb once again, so make sure that she's underneath your Shanks crew, and then we can get a 2x color affinity with the Rayleigh. So that way we can just sort of blast our way through Frankosuke and Sangoro, and keep as many orbs as we possibly can, because this team just has so much damage. But when we get onto the next stage against Brook and against Robbie, we don't have to worry about the Despair, because we are running Roger once again, and then we can actually use the Sabo special to give us a color affinity boost, as well as remove the attack down if we actually get that on this particular stage. Then we can use the super typing of our Roger to give us a full border orbs. We can use the super of Odin to get a 2.5 times orb boost to our free spirit and our slashes, as well as our red units. And then we can use our Roger special. Roger is going to extend that orb buff into the next stage, And then we can use our Shankscrew special to give us a 3.5 times chain lock for 3 turns. And that way we just have all our buffs already set. And as you can see, we just melt Robbie and Brook with just one shot. Just so much damage between Roger and the Odin special. It's just absolutely nuts. But as you can see, we are in the final stage now against all of the Straw Hats, and we don't actually have an attack boost. We still have the Orb boost, the chain lock that we carried over from the other turn. And now that we are on the final stage, we should get the 1.3 times color affinity to our slashes from the Clash Sora. There, we also see the Bardo support trigger as well, and then we can use the Aura Jackson to remove the other 2 turns of the paralysis. And with that, as you can see, like, we just have that much damage that our slashes just do so goddamn much, and we can just fly through their HP. So it is a bit shaky with sort of hitting your perfects and stuff like that and what order, but it does manage to get the job done very quick. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to belt that like button, and if you want to stay up to date with more OPTC content I post, hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Lights!